Thank you, sir. Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Secretary General, thank you for being here. And General Dunford, I have had the opportunity to represent Parris Island. And so I know firsthand how working with young people, you transform them into extraordinary people with the highest level of fulfillment that they could ever achieve. And so it's just awesome what the Marine Corps does. I appreciate both of you making recommendations to the President to protect American families from further attacks. But the President has established a legacy of failure, not accepting common sense proposals to promote peace. This was cited last week by the Washington Post editorial page editor Fred Hiatt, who courageously confirmed, quote, he withdrew all U.S. troops from Iraq when experts advised that a residual force of 15,000 would help keep a fragile peace. He bombed Libya to overthrow its dictator, but opposed a small NATO training force that might have stabilized the new government. With the President not accepting your recommendations, Mr. Secretary, there are plans for the deployment of approximately 50 Special Operations soldiers to northern Syria to advise and assist Kurdish and Arab fighters fighting ISIS or Daesh. The White House press secretary has said these Special Operations forces will be able to assess the situation on the ground and help local fighters with operational planning, tactics, and logistics. Given the complicated socio-political divide between the Kurds and the local Syrian forces, do you believe that this will be successful, and what are the decision points for this strategy?
Well, we do believe that it has every chance of being successful, but this is a transactional relationship with these forces, wherein we provide them some support, we provide them some equipment, and we see how they do. And in fact, that's what we're doing all over. So far, they have shown a willingness to take territory, made good use of our equipment, and that's the reason why we're prepared to do more with them. And by the way, as I said, this I hope it will be like a snowball. If they do well, we'll do more. That'll gather more fighters into their movement. And of course, where we would like them to go down is to Raqqa and reclaim this so-called capital of the so-called caliphate. But it's very transactional because we have to see how they're doing and what their level of motivation and effectiveness is.
And of course, it's bipartisan. We want you to be successful. Mr. Secretary, on the basis of this hearing is to determine the suitable strategy to deal with ISIS in Iraq and Syria. Most recently, we've seen ISIS spread terror beyond the region. The President has stated on a number of occasions that ISIS is contained. Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democrat of California, the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, has expressed a sense of urgency. Recently, she said, quote, we have to be prepared for an ISIS attack on the U.S. homeland. I've never been more concerned. Senator Feinstein said, quote, I read the intelligence faithfully. And then she added, ISIL is not contained. ISIL is expanding. Her comments serve as a direct rebuttal to the President's statement. Just hours before the mass murders in Paris, we had, quote, from the start, our goal has been to contain ISIS and keep them contained, end of quote. What specifically does containment of ISIS mean to you? And in practical terms, what is DOD doing that it should do to contain ISIS?
Well, our strategy is to destroy ISIL in Syria and Iraq and anywhere else it arises. And with respect to the homeland, while we don't have any credible imminent threats that I can relate to you today, fortunately, we do take Homeland Security very seriously, and we particularly take the protection of our own personnel seriously for, among other reasons, the fact that they were many of them were singled out by these guys like Junaid Hussain, who were trying to recruit Americans. A few months ago, I went to Chattanooga on a Sunday afternoon, where there was a ceremony for 6 of our service members, gunned down by somebody who had been radicalized basically online, born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this is serious business, the violent extremist tendencies, and while we need to get its heart in Syria and Iraq, we need to recognize that this metastasizes elsewhere and protect ourselves and protect our people.
Thank you very much.